Are you tired of waiting for the water to drain slowly out of your bathroom sink? Well, wait no longer. This is an easy fix anyone can do. Welcome to Brew Builds, your place for DIY home improvements. I'm Paul. When a sink drain gets clogged and drains slowly, there are two places this most likely occurs, and you don't need any special tools to fix it. Tools and items needed: a bucket, and a hand, and maybe a pair of pliers, and maybe some latex gloves, and if you have one, a snake auger. While this is easy to do, it can be a bit messy, so you want to clear everything out from under your sink. And if moldy, greasy, black gunk, bile slimed hair covered with soap scum grosses you out, you may want to wear some gloves. On the brew scale, technical ability I rate as a beginner. Just remember, clockwise to tighten, counterclockwise to loosen. Physical ability I rate as easy. Other than being on your knees and under a sink, this is an easy DIY project. The first place I'll clean out is the sink drain stopper. There are some links and levers that move the drain up and down. You need to be able to get under the sink and to the back side of the drain to remove the stopper. Here is the stopper linkage that is attached to the lever built into the faucet. It has an adjustable strap that attaches to the lever, which is held to the horizontal rod with a clip. A ball joint with a rod is held in place with a nut and washer. The rod inserts into a hole of the stopper, so when you pull on the lever, it will cause the stopper to move up or down. To remove the stopper, you need to remove the ball joint rod. First, slide one side of the clip off the rod and remove the flat bar. I like to put the clip back on so I don't misplace it. Then remove the nut and washer that holds the ball joint onto the drain. You may need a pair of pliers to loosen this. Once you remove the nut, the ball joint will come out. Now you should be able to grab the stopper and remove it out of the drain. If you can't grab the stopper, put the rod back into the hole and lift up the stopper so you can grab it. Warning, this can be a bit disgusting. As you can see, there is a chunk of stuff clogging the drain that was stopping the water from flowing freely. Clean off the stopper and dig out what you can out of the drain. You can run some water down the drain to help clean it out. Just be aware that water may come out of the hole where the ball joint was attached, so either have a bucket underneath or put the ball joint back in place with its nut and washer. If your stopper was covered in slimy gunk, then it alone was probably causing the slow draining. Clean it up, put it back in, and the water should drain freely. I'm going to continue on down the drain and remove a few more pieces to check for clogs. Once everything is cleaned up, I'll show you how to put this back in. Make sure you have a bucket in place under the drain pipes. If a bucket doesn't fit, try using a small plastic container. I'm going to remove this section of the drain, which is called a P-trap. There will be water in this section, which is why you need to have a bucket or a plastic container. To remove this 180-degree section, loosen these two nuts and pull down on the pipe. Remember, counterclockwise to loosen, but sometimes you're looking at things upside down. Next, I'll take off the straight piece off the sink drain by loosening its nut. Then remove the last 90-degree piece that goes into the wall. Most of these connections have a washer that should be staying with the pipe. I'll then take these pieces outside and clean the gunk off of them with a hose. Since I have this taken apart and I own a hand auger, I'm going to run this snake down the drain to make sure there aren't any types of clogs. And if someone can explain to me why we snake a pipe and fish a wire, let me know. I'm not expecting anything to be caught in the pipe, so I'll run the snake down the pipe a few feet, give it a spin, and repeat that 3 or 4 times. Then I'll pull it all back out. Before putting the drain back together, run some pieces of paper towel twisted together down the drain to clean out the remaining piece of drain pipe. Yep, got more gunk. Assemble the pieces back together in the reverse order, starting with the 90-degree elbow that goes into the wall. Be careful that you don't cross-thread the plastic nuts. Don't tighten anything down until you get all the pieces back in place. After the elbow will be the straight piece. Insert the pipe up to the rubber washer. Don't push so hard that you move the washer. 3 of the 4 connections have washers, which allows for adjusting height and distances between the sink and the drain. Since this has already been assembled without any leaks, I just want to put it back together the same way, which is why I try not to move any washers. Lastly, attach the 180-degree piece. The reason you don't tighten everything at first is so you have the ability to align the pieces. The only connection that doesn't have a washer or adjustability is this one here. I will tighten this nut first, then the one that goes into the wall, then do the nut at the other end of the 180, and lastly, tighten the nut on the drain downspout. Then double check that all the nuts are snug. I wish we could change our lovely peach colored tile as easily it was to clean out this drain. Or maybe it is. We can make it red, or purple, fuchsia, buttercup. I think I see a future project coming up. Definitely without gravel. Depending on how you install the stopper with its off-centered slotted hole, it can be removable, non-removable, or twist removable. If the rod doesn't go into the hole, it will be removable. If the slotted hole is towards the center of the sink, you should be able to remove it by twisting and jiggling. If it is towards the back of the sink, you'll have to remove the ball joint rod to remove the stopper. In my experience, a removable stopper will not make a good seal to keep the water from going down the drain, but it does make it quicker to clean. To make the stopper non-removable, insert the rod into the stopper after you drop it into the drain. Check to make sure that the rod is in the hole by pulling up on the stopper. Insert the rod into the flat bar with the holes. Pick a hole that leaves the rod horizontal. Attach the clip to hold the bar in place. I'll give you a little bonus tip of how to adjust your stopper if your sink doesn't hold water. But before I do, hit that like button for me, subscribe to Brew Builds, and leave a comment if this has been helpful to you. There are a couple of adjustments that affect how much a stopper opens and closes. When the bar is closer to the drain, the stopper will move more with a smaller pull on the lever. Further away from the drain, you'll need to move the lever more to get the stopper to open the same amount. You may need to bend the bar to keep it at the same place on the rod as it moves up and down. Also check that the linkage movement is not being hindered by the sink hoses or any other items. If the stopper does not open enough, try moving the horizontal rod down one hole on the bar. To help a stopper have a watertight seal against the sink, tighten down the nut that holds the ball joint to add enough friction to keep the stopper in the closed position. The other issue could be the rubber O-ring on the stopper itself. If it has been damaged or just deteriorated over time, you will need to replace it. If you have a leak under your sink, check out this video here. If your shower drain is draining slowly, check out this one. Ah, the wonderful sound of a clean drain.